lighter in his belt.
I pay attention to that because due to the fact that I've taken police training, and one of the police trainings that you do is you have to watch videos. And in these videos, I Googled, does the GUN that the gentleman had that got unalived in Minnesota, is it known for misfire?
You didn't type in the model I gave you?
No, I just said.
The model of the gun matter.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
He was legally within his Second Amendment right to carry.
You have your hand on your trigger. You got a chance of going off.
I'll go
type in. There's a lot of chaos, a lot of ruckus.
I'll go type in the name of it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right here on my Google.
But does it matter that he was using his Second Amendment right? Everyone has a right to bear arms. Now, even though you didn't like the circumstances that the man was bearing his arms, he never touched that device. It was never touched. The only people who touched that device were the officers. That man had 7 people on 2 arms. So we need to stop trying to. The other thing with these conversations we're having with folks, especially with somebody who has MAGA in the name, is there's no humanity, humility, dignity, or empathy.
Y'all don't know how to. Why y'all know how to read? People. And y'all think y'all so.
You can see how immature he is.
Why y'all think
nobody has to. There's no need to try to make fun.
It's not M-O.
There's also a V in vomit, and that's how I feel about you folks. So let's keep on going. Okay, so let's stop using the alphabet and calm down. The other thing is he's well within his rights to carry that weapon. So we can't talk about that. They call the J6ers patriots, and they maced police officers. They abused and beat up the officials. How come all those people aren't still in jail and they were given pardons? Okay, let's not be hypocritical. Now let's also talk about the fact that we had gentlemen during the pandemic show up who are Black people at Stone Mountain here in Georgia with their Second Amendment rights, and one of those men is in federal prison right now and didn't do anything. So let's talk about the hypocrisy. Okay, you never want to see it's always the pot calling the kettle black. Okay, it's the victim who's always the issue, not the victimizer. Okay, maybe we need to look at the people who have the true power. Me as an individual in society cannot fight 3,000 individuals who they have in Minneapolis right now on the streets. They have 600 police officers in Minneapolis, but they have 3,000 immigration and enforcement agents. How is that going to work? So at the end of the day, a lot of these conversations we're having right now about this are about morality. These people don't care about humanity or morality. All they care about is legality. And they always want to blame the victim. The victim should have been more docile. The slave should have learned his place and not talked about actually moving forward and getting out of slavery. Okay. Black people should have known their places and not done that. So they've been brainwashed. They've been programmed. And they don't even realize they're a product of the supremacy system and the patriarchy that is holding them back and their people back. So these conversations, it's useless. They're not going to change. Until they're the victim, they're not going to care.
Well, they're on a limb by themselves because even the president is walking it all back. So his supporters can be out here talking about the people did nothing wrong and they had a right to do what they did. Even the president ain't saying that shit no more. Only thing he's saying is I just wish he wouldn't have brought his pew-pew to the battle. Yeah, but we know that it's not armed to a peaceful protest. But see, if that was the case,
it was not a protest.
It's not an unfortunate situation. It was a willfully, purposely done situation.
No,
see, they did.
And y'all sound like dumbasses if y'all think it was guilty for no reason.
What you all need to do, what kills me about a lot of you all,
because this narrative y'all trying to paint is ridiculous.
Some of you all have been to college.
I know you're smarter than that,
don't even know how. No, I thought you were smarter than that. You don't even know how to look
from the rainbow guy below you. I expected because
when you stop learning why you over talking to me, MAGA naga, because I haven't said hot potato. See, the problem with all of y'all intelligent asses is you don't know how to look at people and read their fucking body languages, and that's why you're gonna lose every fucking time. Because you're just that dumb. You only know how to judge people once they talk. and open their mouths. You ain't got to open your mouth around me. I can look at the way you walk. I can look at the way you, everything about your nonverbal language, and I can call and tell you about yourself, and you ain't said a damn word. When I look at that video and I look at everybody's nonverbal language, including especially the language of the officer who was not in any clothing that said officer. He looked like any bystander that was attending the protest. He had on regular clothing. He ran up, got in the mix, took the pew-pew because I think he saw it because the way he's looking, he went into that with intention. So he went in there and directly put his hand down, took it out of the off of the man. There was no reason to announce that pew-pew. He did that shit on purpose. You can look at his body. You can look at the way he's running away and looking behind him because he knew soon as he yelled pew-pew, they was going to start firing. So you knew what you were doing. There was no reason for you to yell pew-pew because you had the fucking pew-pew in your goddamn hand. You only yell pew-pew when the person has the pew pew and they're pointing it at you. Now you ain't never took one fucking day in training, so you ain't gonna tell me when the hell he was supposed to yell pew pew. They did that shit on purpose.
Well,
and I hope every last one of them
shut the fuck up, MAGA.
I hope they all pay for it. I hope they get the karma.
Emotional grown ass man.
I hope they get the karma that
all right,
they
can the Rand get in? He hasn't said nothing.
Oh, they gonna get in. Rand gonna get in. He been talking all day on another panel over there. Hold on. I hope they get the karma they freaking deserve.
You know what?
Hot potato.
I'll holler at you. What's up, Rand? I ain't see you down there, brother.
Yeah, you about to leave and Random popped up.
These niggas is dumb. I ain't that.
Nah, your mama dumb. Your mama dumb for having you.
At least
y'all.
Give me 15 seconds.
Come on, man. Come on, just give him a couple seconds. Why you leave, Random?
Because they be fake ass. They can't handle the heat in the kitchen, and they cannot handle.
Hold on, bro. Let
there we go.
Get in. Sorry, bro. Come
I
on,
had to. My bad. I had to reset my little headset.
Stop doing that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah,
I got 8 minds on here. They dropping each other. Stop that, yo.
These mild wars are real.
Who dropped me? I didn't drop anybody.
Another mind
wars are real.
Thank you, Miss Sylvia. Thank you, Miss Sylvia. Somebody need to fucking say it.
Go ahead. Come on. Let's get civil. Hold on, before you start.
Civil arrest is crazy.
And spar intellectually.
I know.
Right?
Come on, y'all. We doing good. Let's keep on the hot potato. But Randa, when you finish with your convo, just say hot potato so we know to pass them.
Hot potato. Oh, okay, that's the hot potato. All right.
Yeah.
I thought
so everybody recognizes that you done.
Okay, I thought that was so we could cuss people out. Okay, all right.
They won't step on your toes. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do.
Yeah, everybody that say hot potato cuss somebody out afterwards. So I thought that's what that was. All right. Yeah, this situation is unfortunate, guys. You know, this is another one of those times that, you know, had we been at home or at a restaurant or, you know, away from investigations, you know, certain things just wouldn't happen. I'm in a state where we have had a Republican state, by the way, where we have had several protests go on and a lot of people turn out, and there has been no violence ever since January 20th. There hasn't been people getting pew-pewed in the streets. I think we're over sensationalizing this Minneapolis situation. Across the country, a lot of this stuff is not happening. So I think we need to address the citizens that it is happening to, because, you know, if it's not happening on a mass scale everywhere else, something is going on. So
how many ICE agents were sent to your area? Because Minneapolis had over.
You gotta say hot potato.
We had a whole. Yeah. I'll say.
You good though? Go ahead, right? Because they ain't got a chance, so let them just get it off.
Right.
And you kind of got a law enforcement background a little bit, right? Or,
yeah.
Okay.
So it's actually, Miss Sylvia, a lot. We actually had a major detention center for ICE open here in Indiana. So there's quite a few agents, as well as we have now deputized the police officers to carry out ICE duties in the event that they are not present on the scene. So we have, but back to my statement, even across the country outside of my state, there has not been this widespread violence for all of these citizens. And so I feel like that we need to take that into context. Minneapolis specifically seems to have a problem with the way in which they are attempting to protest. And I think that needs to be addressed. Hot potato.
All right, I'd like to say something. Oh my God.
Stop the lies. Hot potato.
So I just want to say this. Anybody that can sit back and discuss this and just think what's going on is okay is they get off on cruelty and they need to go find their humanity. Not only are they border patrol and ICE pew-pewing people in different spots all around the country, right? These incidents with Renee Good and Alex Pretty, yes, they're widespread because they're actual unaliveds, and then we're hearing about Keith Porter, but nobody's even mentioning what's actually going on in these detainment centers. We've had 4 or 5 ICE officers be charged. They're charged with I'm sorry, what I'm hearing is throwing me. I can't even talk. It's disgusting. But they're being charged with SAing these women in these camps. Nobody is even bringing that up. And I'm talking from 2025 into this year. There have been several cases of SA in these camps. American citizens that have been detained in these camps have came out and spoken about the inhumane treatment. Nobody cares that when they're deporting people, they're not even deporting them to the countries they come from. They're sending them to war-stricken countries like Liberia. But for some reason, you have people get on these panels and they're perfectly fine with everything that's going on in regards to other human beings. Fuck, don't worry about it. Y'all have a good night.
Just heartless, lovely.
Look at her dumbass. Couldn't even get it out.
You can't let those kind of, because
come back and try to get it out. Come back, man. Try to get it out.
You can't let heartless people get
He
to
has
you.
empathy,
Don't try to
bro.
speak
Hey,
so
Magda,
fast.
you got,
If you know you ain't that bright, you gotta take your time when you talk.
Magda, you got to stop using nigga in a room full of black people, bro. That's not going to continue to keep and ride with me, man. I ain't liking that.
You already know what the name like he has.
I'm not liking that, bro. For real.
Am I allowed to say that word up here?
I can't censor anybody over here.
Well, Smokey, we
ignorant will always
say what I want to say.
a nigga because
Okay,
we're
so
never
nigga, what you
ignorant.
gonna
Getting
do about
goals accomplished.
Hey, nigga, what you gonna do about that?
Hey, my people fought hard to be niggas, man. And I
Did
think
you
it's
hear
time
me,
for us to
Smokey?
stop saying
I
that.
said nigga means never ignorant. Getting goals accomplished. So don't let that word bother you, okay? He didn't call you the
What you know about
That's
But that's what I'm saying. When you take the energy
You know what I
out
mean?
of some shit, it don't bother you at all. So if he wants to call you a
love
nigga,
that,
it's a
Miss Silver.
compliment. Tell him thank you. Now that takes all of the energy out of what he was trying to do.
Matter of
'Cause
fact, let me
Tupac-
get on your page right quick, pussy boy.
Tupac say never ignorant,
Oh my
getting
God.
goals accomplished. Fuck what MAGA Naga talking about.
I thought that was Nas who said that. Was that Tupac? Or
Nah,
Nas?
dumb nigga.
He
I
been
blocked
on the
dumb
wrong.
ass nigga.
You better you bring him back up here, conscious.
I ain't dropping.
Stop.
I ain't dropping.
No, he just left. It
He
said
said he's
guess
gonna
this
go look at my
tonight.
page.
No.
Yeah, he said he's going. Yeah, he's going to do some
Like I'm
investigative
supposed to be
journalism.
scared of his dumb ass. Somebody said
He's going on his burner, so you don't know who he is.
Thank you, Q.
This is not my burner, sir.
No, but
No,
I
he's-
don't have a problem with y'all because see, I know that once the gates
Oh, you said that,
closed,
mm.
you would never be let in. So
No,
y'all better
homeboy who
decide
left is
what
going
side-
on his burner.
Y'all better decide what side of
Oh.
history you want to be on, because this shit is getting ready to come to a boiling
What
point.
gates? I can't
If
get
you
in
ain't
where,
looked
Miss
to see what's going on overseas right now between the Kurds and Syria, with Trump putting that motherfucker in charge of Syria over there and had him all over here in the White House. And now he trying to force them Kurds who's over there being finna get ready to go to war. This shit finna get worse than y'all thought. And yet all that bullshit y'all was running around thinking it was cute to prump up this motherfucker Satanist we got inside of the White House. You're going to regret every damn thing you said. You're going to regret every damn thing you did, because you're going to be looking real stupid, and you're going to have to come to a lot of people and say, damn, I was wrong.
Miss Sylvia, is Tim Walz
We
a
ain't gonna
Satanist?
accept your damn apology. I'm letting you know. If I'm in charge, your apology is not fucking accepted, and the gates will not be open.
Miss Sylvia, is Tim Walz a Satanist?
Who?
Tim Walz.
Who is that?
Running for vice president and the governor of Minnesota.
Miss Sylvia, I know you know who Tim Walz is, Miss Sylvia. Stop yanking my chain.
Who is it? The governor of Minnesota?
Yes. Your
If
vice
he's-
president
if
that you
he-
voted for.
If he's a Satan, then Trump is 2 times 20. So now what?
No, I was just asking you, is he?
No, I don't think he's Satan.
Well, I would implore you to go look at what he's
Well,
done.
he
for the
ain't. He ain't.
Satanists.
If he is a Satan, you won.
No, Miss Sylvia, he's literally.
No, your
he's
life ain't
literally-
squeaky clean.
Miss Sylvia, he has literally put support in the state building for the Democrat Satanists. There's a
So
group
I just
called
have, if we want to have the real,
Satanists for
Have y'all
Democrats.
have y'all
Yeah,
called
yeah.
ICE
Y'all
on
know
Miss
so much
Sylvia
about
yet?
what he did. What has
we're not
Trump
supposed
done?
to say that
What
word.
did Trump do? What did Trump
We're not
do?
supposed to say what
Y'all
word.
talk
What
about
word?
everything everybody
I
else.
thought we're
do,
not
but
supposed to
Trump
say ICE. I thought we had to say hot
We
potato.
can say whatever we want to say. We on an American algorithm now. We ain't on that TikTok shit, and TikTok being sued right now for that bullshit of letting people on here support Trump, and then the people that don't support Trump, they want to fuck with our lives. You better turn the news on. Fucking Gavin Newsom.
We ain't turning no news on.
Gavin
Get on the right
Newsom
team.
Gavin Newsom is taking their ass
Absolutely
to court along with several other people about this
Gavin Newsom?
racist ass fucking
Newsom.
shit. And then now
Well,
TikTok,
hold on.
TikTok
I
all
have
on the
heard
news
something
talking
about
about,
that,
but
though,
no,
like-
it's just a glitch. We're not doing anything. You
Miss
have
Sylvia,
the
can
right
you
to
let
talk.
somebody else talk?
No, your ICE is on the way to get you. Hot potato.
I thought y'all didn't want people deported.
No, they
We
don't.
want the criminals deported.
They just
We
don't
want
know.
that, like,
I think the real key is
look-
that the system is broken, and people want to change. People do want a legal, immigration
legal
system.
pathway to citizenship.
Yeah,
What's broken
I think
about it?
both parties have different ideas on how to get that done. Right now, we're on the right path of how to get that done. Do we all agree with it? Most definitely not. I think a lot of people, even on the right, don't agree with how we're going about it right now. I think there would be more productive ways to go about it and a lot less expensive ways as well. I think what is broken in our system specifically is for those who are taking the path legally, it does take a very long time for a lot of people to come legally through the pathway, not of necessarily amnesty, but just through the legal pathway. Sometimes it can take up to 10, 15 years to become a legal citizen in the United States, even when having been here before then. So we do need to make it possibly a shorter process with the help. And then the other key is we need to, if we want to say that we truly care about immigration enforcement, we need to drastically penalize these leaders of these corporations and businesses who hire illegal immigrants. Okay, we've never talked about that. There should
Can
be
I
a
ask
lot of
you a
these
question
people
when you
who
hop
should be in
potato?
prison right now. Say it again, sir.
Can
Why
I
we
ask
ain't
you a
talking
question
about
when you
them?
hop
'Cause
potato?
they got money. Rich folks don't arrest rich
Y'all hear
rich
me?
folks.
Well, hold on, Miss
They
Sylvia.
blame shit
Yeah,
on
we hear you,
poor
Lisa.
folks.
I wanted to, when he
Show me
when he
on
was finished.
teacup.
It did.
We see you
No.
and hear you, beautiful. Calm down, man.
Conscious,
You want the
damn.
big screen?
Yeah,
No, I'm
for
just-
once. Shit.
For once.
Go ahead.
Make me feel at home.
Kick your
You
feet
gotta
up.
get-
Yeah,
Never
take
mind.
your,
Let me sit. Let
take
me
your
shut
shoes,
up.
take
Go
your
ahead.
shoes off first.
You got the big mouth.
Take a coat and your shoes off.
Yeah. Let me get some law and order in this bitch. Hold on. Hello, everybody. I'm Lisa. Y'all know that. Just before y'all go jumping from topic to topic, I just want to let y'all know, y'all would not have to be worried about getting pew-pewed by ICE if y'all stayed y'all raggedy asses at home.
Oh,
Well, a lot of us are staying at home. You notice the people who are getting pew-pewed aren't us.
Amen.
Right.
And I'm
Now,
glad.
let's get this right. ICE
Here
did
she
not
go.
pew-pew that man. That man was pew-pewed by Border Patrol. Border Patrol ain't had no fucking business being in Minnesota. The border is not in Minnesota. The border is
Oh,
down
here she
in
go.
Texas, Mexico, California, or Wisconsin, and up there by Canada. What the fuck the Border Patrol doing in Minnesota?
Does he have training to carry out ICE duties? Like, did he train?
Because he probably finna go to
Miss
jail.
Sylvia, do you know
He
that,
has
or are
been
you just talking?
fired
Very
from
different
his, he
organizations.
has been fired from
I think you're
his
just talking shit,
duties.
Miss Sylvia.
He has been fired from his duties. Y'all need to turn on Real News.
He
Him
was
and his
fired.
little crew. Him
He
and his
was not
little
fired,
crew
Miss
would
Sylvia.
be the fuck up out of there. He's been fired from Minnesota. They
Wait.
fired from that mission.
He been
They
fired
Get
know
the
they,
fuck
they ain't
out
gonna
of
say
there.
fire, they
Out of there.
replace.
Yeah.
They gonna say
Durant, are you
from what
saying
I
that
heard,
Oh, go
on
ahead.
the
Stop on
news,
this.
they're using the word
but from what I
removed.
heard,
that he has
Removed,
been
yeah.
removed.
That's
yeah,
not that's
I
not
heard he's
They're
fired.
gonna
bringing
retire after he going back to his.
Yeah, he's going back. But I think no, he wasn't at the meeting that they had at the White House either. So they had a meeting with everybody, but they didn't invite his ass. See, this is one thing I know about white people. See, with that white woman, they figured she was gay.
Man.
Because she was gay, they figured everybody would be against her. But because that's what y'all all talking about on TikTok. They're indoctrinating our kids. They're making our kids gay.
Miss Sylvia, how many potatoes are you
Shut
gonna
up,
pick
Lisa.
up?
Shut up, Lisa. They're
Got a
making our
satchel in the
kids
joint.
gay.
Literally.
They're wanting to give them changing medication to change them from girls to boys in 3rd grade and all that shit. So they figured, Main Street was really going to be okay with them slaughtering her like they did. But they got some pushback even in slaughtering her. But I always knew they was going to slaughter somebody else. And I said they're going to slaughter the wrong one. And that's what they did.
Bro, don't this shit go hard?
Well,
One.
so
And now even Trump, and see, white folks really don't like, white people don't really like slaughtering their own people. That was not their intention. Their
Okay,
intention
Miss Sylvia, be quiet now.
was to
Your boy,
slaughter
Be
brown
nice,
people.
Lisa.
what was your
Oh, I know Miss
question, your boy?
Sylvia.
I know.
She's been trying to get me deported forever. Oh, I had a question.
Oh no, I had a question for him.
Rand always got questions.
Man, I to be honest, that
You
was
just forgot.
yeah. They done.
We can truly see how we get to think and breaking down
Yeah.
our mindset. So go right ahead.
Right.
That's another thing. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I do have this question. So I do know what I wanted to say though. No one will be fired immediately after an event. They are going to be put on administrative leave until there is an investigation conducted, which happens in every single case, regardless of if the person, be it the officer, was at fault or whether the officer was not at fault. They are going to be put in administrative leave to figure out what was going on. It probably will be that he will end up leaving and doing something else, but yeah, that's it. They were saying hi Q. They were saying that the guy
You gonna say hi to me, Q?
Hi, Con. I just see
Yeah,
you.
no,
Nice.
Con.
Too
Yeah.
late. No, I'm messing with you. You did. I'm sorry, Q.
yeah
That's the idea.
I can't it escaped me what exactly you were saying. I mean, if you want to go back into it, so I can't
What
ask
I
you.
was just saying is I think that the right and the left have two different ideas on how we all want a better immigration system in the country.
Mhm.
And I think there are different things we could do to streamline our immigration system for people who are going about it the legal way that we want them to go about it. Like I say, sometimes it takes a long time. So there's certain processes we can make to be a little shorter. Also, what I was saying is we could also be doing this by spending a lot less money and with a lot less trauma going on than we're doing right now. I think a lot of people, even on the right, aren't agreeing with what's actually happening right now for immigration reform. And the last thing I was saying is if we truly care about immigration and illegal immigration, we need to come after employers who are illegally hiring these people.
Okay.
But
We're not doing so.
But this
I
is
do
what I'm
remember
trying to
what
tell
I,
y'all.
hold on, Miss Sylvia, because I'm gonna forget.
Okay.
Because he said all that so I could remember my question, and now I remember.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to know, which I do agree with you, that we can increase the speed in which we bring people into the country, right? But what is the real benefit? What exactly are we talking about is going to be the intrinsic benefit that U.S. citizens, okay, I want to be very clear. What is the benefit that U.S. citizens are going to gain from speeding up the immigration process?
Now the question would be, what are you losing?
No, because we're going to lose something regardless. So
no, what are you losing by speeding up the process is what I want to know. As an American citizen, what are you personally going to lose by speeding up the process for an immigrant to come here?
Well, the more people that we bring into the country, regardless of how you cut it, means we're going to have to compete for more jobs. That is not good for the U.S. citizens or the immigrants that are currently here.
I agree with that. So now, as an American citizen, if that's how you really feel in your heart, when are you going to start saying to your government, get our military out of every fucking country?
Well, Miss Sylvia,
stop fucking over those. Hold on. Because see, the only people that come here is poor countries. You don't see no rich white people coming here from other countries trying to be over here live. No, you don't. They don't come here to try to live. They come here to visit.
See me right here, Miss Sylvia?
No. The only people you see coming here to live, and the only rich white people come here, they come here as CEOs of these fucking companies and make big money off of you. But the only people coming here to try to get citizenship crossing them borders is poor people that are living in countries in which the United States fucked over, robs, grapes, and traits. They're everything. They're natural resources under the ground and above the fucking ground. So get your ass out of Venezuela. Get your ass out of the get your ass out of over there in Panama. Get your ass from overseas out of those Arabs places and spaces. Stop funding Israel to commit genocides. So if y'all really true about what the hell you talking about, because see, y'all don't care about people. All you care about is your selfish ass ideology.
Well, if we did that, Miss Sylvia, this would be my compromise. We can do that, but then we're going to have to cut all aid. And I mean, every single dime, we're cutting all aid from every other country.
That's what I said, cut it all. And
you said pull out the military.
No, I'm saying we're
cutting out all medical aid.
And we're going to cut the border. You're not going to travel outside of this motherfucking country, and ain't nobody coming in it. You want to go on vacation? You got 51 motherfucking states vacationing.
Yeah, all right. Be quiet now.
Go ahead, your boy. What's your question?
So my whole idea behind that is, once again, it's just what Miss Sylvia said. A lot of these countries we purposely destabilize to get their resources. You can look at a country like Haiti. Ever since Haiti was the only country to gain its freedom, there's been an embargo on that country. Okay, same with Cuba. If we don't agree with these countries, lots of times we go out of our way to make sure they cannot succeed. They cannot be a part of the world. They cannot have a working, functioning economy, and that's what's bringing a lot of these people to the United States. We can't go and destroy these countries, right? Literally destroy them, and then say, oh, if you want me to take my military away, then I'm going to have to leave you with the destruction I've dealt over. By the way, lots of these places over 100+ years of our meddling. Okay, well, we have unalived people. We have caused artificial coups. We have done a lot of, well, I won't say us, the YT people who founded this country since day one have been doing so. And it's a lot that comes with that. Of course, there are going to be poor people coming from these countries we've destroyed. Okay, if we didn't tear them down and we actually built them up, there would be no need for them to leave their country. Nobody wants to leave their home with everything they know, their language, their culture, their family, their understanding of life, to come all the way to someplace, number one, where we don't even respect people. Okay, where they're going to be pooped on. So at the end of the day, we do need to repair the harms done to those of other countries and to those of us in our country as Black people. So I think the biggest problem that I always have is we always like to look at things in a vacuum from we benefited from them, but we also have to say what was in our benefit was in a lot of people's detriment. Okay, and if we
So,
want to fix, so how are we going to fix those issues if we just immediately destroy the country then leave?
so I think we have to take a step back before all of this globalization, because the whole premise of why we interjected in globalization in the first place was to help these people out, because we
Well, it was to gain
specific
dollar hegemony. We
but
wanted
but
to
listen
take
but
over the
listen but
pounds and
listen
get off the gold. Okay, we
but
also
listen
wanted to destroy unions in this country. So why don't we send these jobs over to Asia where they can be done for cheap without a union? Because a lot of the stuff that used to be manufactured, that's manufactured overseas, used to be manufactured where? In the United States.
in the
We
United
were the
correct.
manufacturing
But
hub of the world. And then what happened is the right and the wealthy said, we cannot continue to give these people power through collective bargaining. The middle class was the strongest when what was at its highest? Union organizing and union membership. Because
I
with
agree.
collective bargaining, we were able to have a living wage. So we could have a one income household for all those people who want to return to a man in the charge of the household. I'm sorry, the same people trying to give you that idea are the ones who are making it unaffordable for the average human being in this country to live off one job because they
I
don't want to pay living wages. And once again, this is why those same people that you're fighting for are hiring illegal immigrants because they don't want to pay a living wage. So make
exactly.
it make
So,
sense. How are you going to fight for the
And
very
they're
people
not
who are
going to
causing the
pay one.
issues?
well, can I
They're
answer?
not going to pay one even when the immigrants are gone. That's why the federal minimum wage ain't but $7 and some an hour. It don't matter that the immigrants leave. You're still not going to get anything extra.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, make it
So
so how do you fight for the
Hold
right
on,
when there
y'all.
are the people who
We
seem to
gotta
be
let
the
Randy
no,
land.
I'm literally about to let him answer right now. I'm just making the question so it's concise. I was just gonna
okay.
say, how can you fight for those people who are causing the very issues that you're fighting against?
Okay. So
Because
I,
this is
I
civil
want to
rights.
I want to take 1 second to continue what I was saying about globalization. The purpose of globalization was to give these countries an ability to build up their infrastructure by utilizing the dollar, by having specific access and partnership to the dollar, which strengthened their economy in the first place. The benefit to that was that they would not then come after the United States for having so much power economically, so much power militarily, because we could have did all this without them. We could have
But I
walked
think a
in
lot of that's about
primarily any country, but we could have walked in any country, right? With our military, if we would have continued to expand our military and continue to expand this empire of the United States, citizens being the main producers of these goods, also the main purchaser of these goods, and then expanding that to these other countries and making them dependent on our economy, we definitely could have did that, right? But the 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 whole thing was we're going to give these countries an ability to step their game up. This is why we have immigration processes here in the first place that come and bring immigrants here to teach them skills in order to take them back home. We have immigration to bring them in this country where they're just living and they can send money back home. There's a lot of reasons why globalization and these corporations literally decided to take jobs overseas. Do I agree with all of them? No. But at the same time, I think it's disingenuous to say that only globalization or only the US government is just going into these places and they're only taking resources. They have literally strengthened and given countries that would not be able to compete today in a world stage environment the ability to, just by partnering and trading in the US dollar, period. So
Wait a minute. Another reason those countries. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Because a
One
lot
of
of
the
the countries
main
we have tariffs
reasons.
against are BRICS countries.
because we
Hold on
have
for a second. One of the
go
main
ahead, Ms.
reasons,
Silver.
Mr. Random, we got rid of those manufacturing. We already got a whole generation of people leaving here due to cancer and all of that. So unless y'all want to be done that way, we can bring all that poison shit because they ain't gonna put it nowhere but in your damn neighborhood. They're gonna poison your water table. They're gonna poison your air. and all with those damn factories. So they can leave all that motherfucking shit over in China, in Korea, in Taiwan, or wherever the hell it's at. Wherever if those people over there want that shit, let them keep it. That's why we didn't want it over here in America. So y'all youngins who don't know shit about how that shit poisons you, go educate yourself.
Well, Miss Sylvia,
Nobody want that shit back over here in America. But dummies, but dummies that don't understand how it ruins the community and how it's going to be in your community and how you're going to be having the cancers and all of the diseases that you see people have now in those communities where those factories used to be.
Well, Miss Sylvia, I mean, we definitely
and you got to make it simpler, more simpler, Sylvia, and reference some movie from the 1980s. There's several movies that show people that worked in factories basically passing from cancer. You got to be like, oh, look at this movie, because people they weren't around. They don't remember when there was factories and the smoke and where the waste went. They don't remember none of that. They weren't even here for that.
But they gonna remember it.
But are we not at
because it's gonna be their neighborhoods where the houses get tore down and they come in within them.
I mean, but guys, we're in 2026 now. We're in a completely different technological stage. We have different safety standards. No, it absolutely matters.
We do have safety standards. But I want to say,
and that was one of the reasons those companies left America, because they didn't want to keep up with the safety standards.
Yeah, when we do have safety standards, really, because mostly, once again, the left pushed those safety standards. The right has continuously lobbied against policies that are productive for health and human life. Now, Trump has made it so they can put PFAS back in our water system. So they can bring back all these poisons and chemical items that are literally giving us cancer at the spikes. This is the youngest in generations that they have the most people have cancer under the age of 40 ever.
Listen, you want to call it left or right,
why
but
do you think they can tell you?
Those were
Why do you think they say so many people are going to have cancer?
I was going to let it go.
I understand what war crimes is saying with the whole idea of sometimes the left is Republican light. I understand that, because all these people for corporations, they both are doing it. But I'll be honest, if we have more of the less policies, there'd be a lot less chemical contamination and things like that.
Companies do what they want to do.
I can't really hear you. Your microphone's kind of low.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you are kind of low.
Do you want to let these companies, like, say for instance, I'll give you an example. Say if I had a manufacturing company and I'm like, yo, let's deregulate. Would you trust me?
No, I think, man, you were talking about the same thing. You're talking to Rand specifically, those on the right.
I'm saying to you is that, listen, you cannot let private companies. You can't. If you listen, if you give me a company and you're a municipality, yo, bro, Rand would have to be like, yo, Mark, chill, please. You understand? You understand? Like, if you were to drop, I'm not talking about 100,000, but if you were to be like, yo, it's 7 million. And if Rand and Miss Sylvia were in charge of finance and they're like, yo, we could get this a month. Do you understand if they leave it up to me, what I would do?
But that's what they are doing in our process.
Yeah,
money
but that's
speaks
why
in our society, and that's the problem. That's why we have a lot of issues we're facing today, because corporations are running him all over the country and doing what they want because they have the money to do so. They bought the politicians, they bought the ad time, they own all the networks. They're in charge of the propaganda that we're seeing on a regular basis.
To own the television, just give me 10 million a month. I'll make it work. I don't need to own TV. I don't need to own no. It sounds big. What you're saying sounds interesting, but I'm gonna tell you, in my opinion, I don't need to own no TV. I don't need to own no politician. Give me 10 million. Give me the property. Give me the payroll. I'll run right through you so fast.
And then that's just human nature, and that's why we need regulation, because a lot of people who are business people are unscrupulous. They have no soul, and they have no humanity. And so that's what's destroying our country right now is the lack of empathy and humanity. It's all after the almighty dollar is all that matters right now. It's not about the person. It's not about enlightenment. It's not about building this shining city on a hill that they all want to go to Reagan and pretend they care about. No, right now, the extremely wealthy are out here moving back to the Gilded Age, and they're playing in your face. Playing in a lot of these people's faces who are voting for the right. They're playing in y'all's faces. Y'all are going to be the next victims because all they care about, if you look at Project 2025, the leader of that program wants to go to America where there's only 150 million people.
Yeah.
How is that going to happen?
But listen.
And who? Wait. But let me say that. So right now we're at almost 400 million people. Where did everybody go?
Can I say something to your point or something? Well, this is what I'm saying to you. The only thing that stops it though from getting crazy like what I just said is voices. People speaking up saying, yo, this ain't right. Because you got to understand, power needs some practice. In my opinion, at least, power needs practice. I need to be able to see what, if I were in power, I would need to be able to see how far I could push it in Minneapolis, how far I could push it in Charlotte, how far I could push it in New York. You understand? Because when you do one thing, how you do one thing is how everything can happen. And that's what I got to say about that. So my thing is to stop the craziness is that you need people to speak up and for people to be like, it's okay, let them speak. And then they go to legislation and et cetera, et cetera. It's either that or we go to the mattresses. What you want to do?
Don't go to the mattress.
We already know that they did what they did in Minnesota on purpose. They haven't acted. ICE has not acted that way anywhere else except for Minnesota. And so that was a purposely orchestrated thing. Trump has a problem with Walsh. We all know that Trump is a person that has vendettas. And if he can get back at anyone he feels did something to him, that's what he's going to do. He's a kid. We have a 70-some-year-old dementia kid in the fucking White House with a bunch of other kids running around supporting him. Yeah. But he's being used because Trump is transactional. So as long as he can make some money, he don't care about carrying out Steve Miller and all the other people's bullshit because he done made over, how many billion did he make in 9 months? It ain't nobody else check on Main Street went up.
Trillion.
We still waiting.
1.4 billion.
Right, we still waiting for our come up.
Please, that's to make that
Folks
much.
About, my stock market is doing good, but the stocks don't mean shit till you cash them out. So you did good today, tomorrow you can be broke as a motherfucker. So what does that mean? Where's your cash at? Shit,
that motherfucker done made
borrow
more
against
in his last years on this planet. That motherfucker has made more than his whole life in his last few years on this planet. Hey yo, do you understand what my dinner if that was me, y'all understand where my dinner, I'd probably be trying to see if I could sacrifice a child. That's
oh my God.
Wow. To make that much amount of money that's crazy. It's like
that's what these people are doing.
What are you?
But Tech, I think I don't think I know.
I'm positive somebody would be like, hey,
anybody.
Let's see if we could unalive a bit. Like, wow.
Bro, anybody that has that amount of money is irrelevant. I mean, the threshold for that type of lifestyle, I would say it's definitely over 10 million. When you get to the point where you have 10 million, you're able to just make money. It's kind of, the lifestyle just becomes, what more can I afford? Now, I think that's completely different than what you're talking about, which is, like you said, the exercise of power. When you get that much money, then you understand that money isn't everything, because anybody can make money. Anybody can make $1 million. Anybody can make $10 million. Anybody can make $30 million, which is how you do it. But I think it becomes now an exercise of power for those who want to have that power. And I do see that there are people that are on one side, they're radical, right? But then I see people on the other side who are just as radical in using their monetary power or power to do things on the opposite side. So I don't think it's good to just point at people that have money and then just be like, yo, they're unhinged, because there's a lot of people.
You're right. I was being dramatic with the child comment.
Yeah, that was crazy. But
yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. I was trying to.
You didn't mean that, guys.
On the conspiracy QAnon. Like, oh no! I wanted to hear someone say, "Oh no, they got them in a pizza shop." Like what? No,
he didn't mean it.
I didn't even do that.
Is that a lot of wealthy people have shown that they're antithetical to human life, and antithetical to everyone but themselves, and that's the issue. Yeah, there are some altruistic rich people, but they don't tend to be the majority, unfortunately. The vast majority seem to be only concerned with what's in their pocket, even though you say it's not about the money. Obviously, it is about the money, because they understand money is a tool, and they're constantly using that tool to degrade, constantly using that tool to manipulate. They're constantly using that tool for the negative instead of doing something to create more and actually build heaven on earth. If a lot of these people who pretend to be so godly. But nonetheless, a lot of these people, unfortunately, they just do not care about anyone. Look at how the wealthy have granted all these islands that you can't get to if the world does end. You need a helicopter or a yacht. If they, especially the ones here in the United States, who tend to be, and they do have both. They might have thrice a vote, but nonetheless, who continuously run to these islands that you can't get to, but they want to say that they're patriots. They want to continue to offshore their money to these places like Switzerland and different places, but they pretend they're patriots. Once again, they're playing in the face of those who are voting with them. They're using these ideas of conservative values and everything like that to make all these people think, well, one day I'll be rich. Maybe one day I can get there and manipulate and abuse people. And unfortunately, it's just not going to happen. You're less likely now to move up the ranks than you were in the past. Right now, if you were born into poverty, you're twice as likely to stay in poverty than in the past. Here in the United States. Yeah, it depends. So I always say this. For the vast majority of people are average. And in our country, we like to emphasize the above average and the extraordinary and the exception. But the problem is, if the people who are exceptional do not create pathways for those who aren't exceptional, who are just average, then we've lost our way. Because the vast majority of us, people need to be shepherded, regardless of what religious doctrine you believe in. They understand the idea of leadership, because most people are followers. They are not going to be leaders. Most people are sheep, and that's why the Bible talks about a shepherd. The problem is, once again, we also have all these people with this money who are the lead, who are not good for people. They're not great leaders. They're not altruistic. And they aren't there because they were chosen, because they were so great. They're there because of money, manipulation, or nepotism. So we have a lot of terrible leaders who want to lead the flock and tell the flock that you're doing wrong, when what they're doing is, of course, leading the flock astray so they can play in your face. So these are the same people who tout these values of American exceptionalism, but they're not exceptional. They got to where they were through wealth, through inheritance, through nepotism, or through a popularity contest. But they tell you, you need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. It's a farce. They want to talk about meritocracy, but then when minorities, Black women, and people like that do better than them, they say, "Oop, well, we need to get rid of the meritocracy because unfortunately I can't compete because I'm actually mediocre." So that's what I don't like, this whole belief system that people have been fooled into. I'm sorry, that's why they call it television programming. Okay, that's why the education system they created for the average person makes sure that you're not a leader. Okay, how come they don't teach you all the financial information you need to know in grade school?
Well, you can be a slave and be in debt.
No, but remember, these people want us all to be so successful, and they love us. And they created this system over 100 years ago, but they're not improving it. How come we're not getting the same education that their kids are getting in a private school?
Right, because I was going to say, I went to
Can we not replicate that? Are we not smart enough to replicate that? So it's a farce. Once again, they're playing in your face. Also, they want to say that
they're not playing in your face. This is a capitalist society, so you need consumers. So they're being raised to be consumers.
Yeah, workers and
Amen.
consumers,
That's the truth.
actually.
Worker bees, as Carly B would say.
Yep. But that's my issue with now you want to substitute that the fact that we are inherently educated to be a worker, right? And the system, as you quoted, is built so that people cannot become exceptional. But now you want to add on that by bringing a bunch of people over here that are going to compete for those same spaces. I don't understand it.
But those people have nothing to do with this system being the way it is. They have nothing to do with it.
But it
They're
doesn't
not
help.
They're not stopping anything from you. Nothing.
But Miss Sylvia, to add them on does not. It helps you. It helps you nothing.
Okay,
None.
so
Can I tell y'all something? There's a historic precedent for immigration and for attacking immigration, and it never ends well. It never ends well for the people that do it. But y'all could look it up. Y'all can look it up.
I'm trying to figure these new modern black folks. I'm confused.
I'm begging them not to do it. But if they feel like they want to attack immigrants, you go right on ahead. And that's one of the reasons why, like, the Yiddish are as closed off as they are, and you can't rent in some of those spaces in Brooklyn. Y'all think the Somalis was holding down their community? I got friggin' swaths of Brooklyn that I knew for a fact when I was doing real estate. I could not. It was look, but don't you dare. Don't you dare say a word.
But these black folks gonna find themselves.
The
black folks that feel the way they do gonna find themselves on an island by themselves. The MAGA that they supported and ran with ain't gonna be fucking with them because they only was using them for the vote. They don't give a damn about no black Republicans that feel the way they feel or think the way they think. They're using you for a damn vote. And when they get through using you, they're going to get rid of you. You the first one going to go because they'll look at you like a traitor. How was you so gullible to go against your own people? So if you go against your people, we know we can't trust you. We'd rather go get one of them other people that kept telling you every day you better watch out because we know we can trust them because we know they don't like us. So we already know where they stand. You're too gullible. You buy everything that's said. You would be no use to people. So y'all really better wake up. They got a plan for your asses. They really do.
Even the Spanish that are over. Listen, essentially, let me say this, man. Just take a look, man, and y'all can figure it out or not, But I would just hope that y'all understand. Attacking some immigrants is like that ain't it. Illegal immigration. When I mean illegal, I mean criminal. That's that you want to look out for. You want to look out for dudes because they don't care. They don't care. I'll tell you right now, if I was a part of like Shower Posse, I would not care. I would not care. Y'all know who Shower. I'm just throwing out some Shower Posse, Red Rose crew. If I was some crew coming out of what's that Kingston? If I was a part of some crew coming out of Kingston by way of Canada, by way of whatever, and I was running around here, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't even if you were a criminal, you're a criminal. You know what I'm saying? But attacking some damn grocery clerk. You just gave me someone I know I can enroll. If I was a criminal and like you attack a grocery clerk, listen. If you left his kid, I'll take care of his kid. Don't worry about it.
Trying to understand now. Pam Bondi now wants the voter rolls from Minnesota. What does the government want in the voter? And I just found out. I guess they've requested the voter rolls of every state, and there's been some states that have already handed that information over. Now, see, that voters thing got your social security number on it. Why are they needing all of this personal information?
They're gonna parse through everyone.
So now everybody needs to be checking their voters registration, make sure they ain't been pulled off of the rolls.
Yeah, they constantly want to purge the rolls.
Yeah, you need to check another 30 days before you go and vote, so that when you get there, they won't be telling you you ain't registered to vote. And all.
Well, I have a question. Rand, did you actually vote for this president right now?
Yeah.
I did.
You did? Now, what
Yep.
policies are you not necessarily, because did you vote for Trump or did you vote for policies? Some people just voted for Donald Trump.
Trump didn't have no policies.
Yeah, but they did have a policy range
Thank
this time because the man who's orchestrating their policy project has been trying to do it for 40
Let me
years.
tell you, man.
So I know they did have policies.
Democrats lost that.
Wait, so what did you vote for him, this president, for?
For several things. For economic security, I saw absolutely zero effort from
And do you mean your own economic security?
of America.
And the economic security meaning
of the
what,
American economy.
And what policy? What makes our economy secure?
It's securing it for the future. So of course we have all these talks about de-dollarization, and that is, I would say 50% of the issue. The other 50% is securing what the economic future is going to be in the digital space, because those two things are different. And so the prior administration. Go ahead. You had a question?
I want you to finish your thought because I have a habit of interrupting, so I want you to continue. So you said you're talking about the economic security for the de-dollarization, and you were talking about for future, and you were going to explain it a little more.
Yes, much respect. So the economic security of where we are now, and the legacy monetary system that we have, of course, is changing. We all know that. So it doesn't just convert over 1-to-1, and the unit of measurement for our dollar is not the same. In the prior administration, not only did we not see any progress to create a system and a framework where we will be able to lay out something to protect us monetarily as Americans, but we also saw actions that went against that. So there was a lot of actions that went against with the SEC. There was a lot of actions that went in Congress just not addressing and passing bills to protect our safety and our information of this new system. There was a lot. So that was one of the major reasons why I voted for Trump, because I knew Trump was going to be pro legislation for blockchain, and we literally need that. That's not something that we can kick down the road, or I won't say there's not something we can't, but I don't find it to be smart to kick it down the road and wait for other countries to have a fully developed system, and we don't have a fully developed system, and we're the monetary superpower.
Let me ask you something. Did you feel that the Democrats were doing okay? Matter of fact, even one better. Did you vote for Trump the first time around?
No, I didn't. I actually didn't vote at all the first time.
So is Trump Trump is your first time voting?
No, not my first time casting a vote, but I'm saying I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote during that election at all.
Oh, you didn't vote during that election at all? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I voted for Barack, and then it was so much going on during that time with Trump. I really just wanted to see what was going on.
And Hillary wasn't a likable candidate. We have to be honest.
Yeah. Well, but see, in my opinion, I felt like that.
Y'all vote on people y'all like.
No, Mr.
No, I voted for.
I was told.
Hillary.
I'll tell you why I voted for Barack Obama. I voted for Barack Obama because I was told by my community that he was black.
I didn't ask you about
and
Barack
I needed to
Obama.
support.
I didn't ask you about that.
But you just said I voted for people that I like. I'm telling you, no.
let's hear his reason.
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to you. He said that Hillary wasn't a likable candidate, and I said, "Oh, is that how people?"
Well,
vote?
you gotta like him.
I do think a lot of people in our
like
country.
nobody. You don't have to like people you vote for. That's a
But
lie.
I agree, but I don't think a lot of the
All you have
voting.
to do is look at their policies. If
Yeah,
they
I don't think a lot of the
policies
voting public sometimes thinks rationally though to do so. So I agree with you, Sylvia, 100%. We don't have to like
younger people that are really not into politics for real, don't really know past presidents, what they have done, don't really know the history of both parties, because every Republican president leaves us in the red. Every last one.
Yeah.
So when
Definitely.
you get up here and brag and talk about what Republicans do, that tells me you don't know anything about what Republicans do. Because then you would know every time we've had a Republican president and they leave out of office, America is in the red. We're upside down in every damn thing.
Yes.
I can agree.
So,
Now,
the,
Democrat
so the one
comes
thing,
in and tries to balance the budget again, turns it back over. The Republicans take a balanced budget and put us right back in the red. They holler, they win, they run on immigrants and small government. And then as soon as they take control, they go and deport immigrants that have been here 15 years, going about it the right way for citizenship. And the reason they choose to pick and deport those immigrants is because now they can come and steal and take everything that they have gathered. So now they paid into Medicare and Social Security and will never be a citizen to get that back. If they had money over here in the bank that they didn't get a chance to take out, you didn't kept that. If they ain't got no family to get that out. If they had a house, that because you don't have to be a citizen to purchase property in the United States of America. So if they had a house, now you done went over there and confiscated that. The regular folks on the street don't know that that house went back to the bank and the bank then made extra money and now resold it. And it was because they got rid of the immigrant and stole all their shit. See, y'all don't know the theft that goes on and deporting certain immigrants. They ain't looking for no criminals. They can't make money off deporting criminals. They can only make money off of immigrants that's been over here working, hitting a lick at a stick. That's why you see them going to jobs, their houses, the schools where their kids go to school, because criminals ain't doing all that shit.
that's
Well, I disagree, Ms.
They're
Sylvia.
going to the
no criminals,
courts.
they're not.
They were going to the
I
courts
disagree
and
with that.
arresting the folks that was going to their court cases.
You literally had a judge harboring a criminal in
The
his
judge
home.
wasn't harboring nobody. The judge
Yes, he
was
was.
trying to do
Miss
the same
Sylvia.
thing.
I mean, what kind of
Last-
The
criminal?
judge was
What
doing.
kind
That
of
judge
criminal?
was doing a
He was
criminal
a-
because he got
he
in an
was a
argument with his
He
wife.
was a TDA member, Tech.
A
and
criminal
what-
because he got
that-
okay. It's a bunch of y'all
he
that's
was
a
a
gang
T-
that used to
he
be
was a
gang
T-
members. That's
he was a
turned your
TDA
life
member.
around. Should we get rid of y'all asses?
No,
What's a
because we
TDA?
can't
What's a
say we
TDA?
can't.
Because we can
can't
make
turn around and
America
say
safer by deporting all
The-
bloods, all
the
Crips,
the criminal
all
organization that was
Latin Kings.
Oh,
you know,
10 dinner.
considered a
Oh,
T group
oh,
earlier.
Hold on,
okay.
hold
Yeah.
on. You want to make America safe, and we're gonna make it safe real quick. This is how we can make America safe. Because see, as a Black woman living in my neighborhoods, the only people that I felt unsafe with is folks that look like me. I ain't
I have a
never
question
had
for
an
Red.
And I'm from
That's hard. That's
Chicago.
hard.
I'm
That's
from-
hard
I'm
what you
from-
just said.
Oh
I
my
am from
God.
Chicago, and I went to Tilden High School, where you had the Puerto Ricans and all of that over there in that area. And I ain't never been in fear. Hell, my next door neighbor is from what did he say, from El Salvador. Him and his wife, he ain't no citizen, she is. That man shovels my snow. He did more than the Black people that lived in that house 20 years before they moved. I would spray their grass that met with mine and throw down weed and feed and cut their part every time I cut mine. You think that Negro would cut mine when he would pay for somebody to come cut his? No,
I don't know, Miss Sylvia. But
no, he didn't. He lived there 20 years. And then got
my
their son a job. When they moved. And did you think they came and knocked on my door and said, "Hi, neighbor, it was been nice knowing you for 20 years, but we moved it."
They just left.
Just left.
They just left.
They kissed my ass. None of that. So that taught me something about neighbors, about us, especially as being neighbors. And so I said, I'll never do that again. with the because now I got two new neighbors on both sides. One El Salvador, another one is the Black people, but I knew them before they moved into that house. But at least he takes care of his property and weeds and feeds his own grass. But yeah, that's how they. But the immigrants, they don't. I ain't never had no problem with them. Nothing.
That is amazing, Miss Sylvia. I'm
Mhm.
not saying that. Not at all.
I'm sorry you don't have a job, Randam.
Red does have a job. Obviously, do you do something in finance? Is that why you still?
The immigrants have stopped him from being successful. He's over there
Miss
living
Sylvia,
under a bridge.
they listen. I was driving Uber during the Biden administration. I can tell you right now, they definitely had an increased number of immigrants in my city that were driving Uber, that drove the rates down and drove down the ability for a lot of us drivers to make the income that we were making before.
That's a
So
fact,
yes,
yeah.
you can 100% again, and all of those people during the Biden administration. Let me tell you something about driving Uber and Lyft. During the Biden administration, the federal government, knowing that they sent all of these people to these different states, they gave the states an extra money to distribute for transportation to these platforms so that they could take these people back and forth to healthcare visits and back and forth to the store. It was a grant that was done. Huh? It was a grant that was done. That gave them that gave a lot of people a stabilization factor, right? Because there were more rides, because there were people that were taking quote unquote free rides. Then when that funding dried up and they no longer gave that funding, a lot of those people that continue to drive, now there was a lot of Americans that were hurting because now we're just relying on the people that are actually booking rides. Whereas at first it seemed like it was okay, everything was going to be perfectly fine. So there is, and the immigrants, right, when they come here, a lot of them do not have the same financial burdens. I think we can all agree. They don't have the same financial burdens that somebody who's been here 15, 20 years has amassed. So if their job really literally was to drive people around, and now you flooded the market with a bunch of people that cannot drive, or that are driving, I'm sorry, and taking away those customers, that is an issue. In addition to that,
getting driver's license and
Miss
renting
Sylvia,
cars if they're not citizens.
they came, Miss Sylvia, that is the problem with the immigration process of the Biden administration. It was different from these other presidents, including Trump, including Biden.
I have a question. So how old are, you don't have to tell me your exact age.
Immigrants that were not citizens,
Lord have mercy,
was able to get a driver's license.
Miss Sylvia, a lot of them were issued work permits and documents, i.e. TINs, to come into the country and establish a working relationship off the bat. That is why they said that.
I'm just trying to answer. Hold on, just work with me. Stay with me now.
Okay.
So these people, who most of them don't speak English, was able to pass a drive. So did we give them driver license without them taking a test?
A lot of them, yeah. Yeah, we definitely did.
So let me ask you this question. Why is it if I was to go and marry somebody overseas and bring them back to America as my husband, and then he would have to go through the same processes as any other immigrant goes through to get here, even though he's legally my husband?
Right.
And then once he gets here, he cannot legally work for 3 years anywhere.
Are you sure
in
about
America.
that?
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
definitely sure about that.
Well, I'm not.
I have to take care of him for 3 years before he can get a work visa.
Oh, well, so I mean,
Yeah.
So now, why do you think any other immigrants are coming over here and getting shit so quickly?
That was the incentive for them to come over in the first place, Miss Sylvia. The whole purpose is people are not going to leave a distressed situation in their country to come to America and be bums on the street. They're just not going to. So how do you
If
incentivize
you a
people to
bomb on
come
the
to this?
street in your country, you'll definitely come to America. It'll be a bomb on the street in the land of milk and honey, which is how America
No.
runs around and represents itself.
No,
And
a lot of people would
anyone
not, Miss
can-
Sylvia. A
Anyone
lot
can
of
make
people
it.
would not.
Oh, yes, you can. When you look at how them people live, why wouldn't they come here?
Because they can, because
Because
it's a
the
bunch
people-
of stuff that you're not putting into the equation.
No,
They're going to
the
have to
people
leave
that-
family.
that's-
They're going to have to leave
Rand,
family. They're going to
I
have to
told
leave their
you.
whole legacy behind to come
Rand,
here.
No, I told you earlier. Only the poorest of the poor come here.
That's not true, Miss
People,
Sylvia.
no, it is. People who
not.
have things going on for themselves.
That's not true at all.
And
Miss
they're
Sylvia,
coming
I think she
doctors,
means illegally.
Business owners,
They are
executives,
illegally-
all that come
illegally-
on.
Let
Right.
me finish. If they come
Illegally.
here, they come here as doctors, scientists, and they're the ones taking your damn jobs since you're so intelligent. They come here on their little visas, take your damn jobs, overstay their visas. Every time every doctor you got a different name than what the fuck you can pronounce. Every nurse, when you go in them hospitals, looking like somebody but you.
Snoring.
And it's many other professions.
I think it's both. I think it's what you guys are saying and a little bit of things you guys don't know. And I'm telling you this as a Jamaican, I've been here since I was like 6, but I know people, and I'm also kind of tied into the Latin community. I know for a fact that when they started opening up the hotels, those immigrant shelters, you could go by there and you could see a lot of mopeds, and a lot of those guys had those Uber, but you know what? It wasn't theirs. It was a relative. There's sometimes people. There are the poorest of the poor that leave, but they have a network here. I'll tell you right now. It's like, if I were from Medellin, if I was from a town called Bayo, and I came here, I could exist and never speak to an American-born person. Never speak to a
The gig
person.
economy is geared towards them.
We're not even talking about gig economy here. Like I'm dead serious. Yo serio, señor. If I were from Medellin, Bayo, Antioch, right? I could come here, right? And I'm telling you, I could end up working in a grocery store or end up doing shipping and receiving in someone's office. And no one is going to say anything as long as I don't do anything to cause problems. You know, for people to act like Miss Sylvia is right. Well, how come they can't get a legal work permit? I gotta tell you, if a legal work permit was the only way that you could make money, guess what? A lot of America would be broke. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of little left hand, side hand jobs that you could do, and you just gotta be team no sleep maybe. But there's ways around all that, and she's also right that there are like doctors, people that are putting things
Somebody
together.
snoring, bro.
That's what I said. I don't know who that is.
God's kitchen.
That's conscious.
There's no searching. Can someone move? Who's snoring?
That's conscious.
Riz or
No, it's not.
That's conscious sleep.
No, it's
Conscious.
Rise.
Conscious. You walk.
Can we mute Rise?
Rise
I know
Kitchen.
that.
Rise
Oh.
Kitchen is asleep.
I think I can mute him. Hold on. I think I'm
But
managing.
you guys see
Sylvia,
what I'm
got it.
you see the point I'm trying to make. though. I'm just trying to say is that it's a little bit of what you guys are saying and a lot of what we just don't know. If you take my word, there's a reason why people are still dying to come here, man.
Right.
You know?
I'm saying my only point is there. I'm not going to sit here and say that all of the people that are only espousing to come here are poor and destitute. That's just not true. There's tons of people that.
Rand is saying that
What
they
I
are
am
competitors
saying
to
you,
the average
Rand,
American.
Rand, Dan, what I'm saying to you, those people that come here with wealth, they have a purpose when they come here. They're coming here to run a corporation. They're coming here to be a CEO. But they're coming here to get an education at a certain college.
Right.
and going back to their country. They're not going to stay here.
America ain't producing
Or
no
they're coming
scholars.
over here to work in a particular field where they basically really want to get more training and education. And even if they stay here, I can guarantee you they be home at their country a whole hell of a lot.
But Miss Sylvia, I have met while working at Amazon, while driving Uber, while doing all these things, there are people that definitely have those positions that obviously do these jobs as well. So we can't say like that those people are only coming here and they're only going straight to the doctor's offices, because they're not. They're getting it by whatever means that they possibly
Amazon,
can.
they poor.
No, they're not, Miss Sylvia.
They're not rich.
Because
They're
most of the
definitely
people
not poor.
The people I'm talking
Where the
about,
hell they living at? They're living in the
people I'm
suburbs.
talking about come here
I
with
mean,
an
if they're at
education.
Amazon,
Already.
are they rich? They're not.
Where they living at though? What they living in the suburbs.
You poor if you working at
Wait,
Amazon.
but we do have to
If
be.
you working at Amazon, the husband is at a hospital somewhere and he didn't allow you to work at
No,
Amazon.
I'm talking about people that have the
To
doctor's
certain
degrees
Americans,
that are
black people.
going.
Now that is honesty. Now,
Yeah. Go ahead, my son.
picking
My
the
bad.
fruit and things like that, no. But certain Americans are going to be Uber drivers. Certain Americans are going to be, because we need to incentivize the fact that we have more born doctors than we have doctors who are created here in the United States is an issue. And we don't have the right pipelines, obviously. But once again, the problem is right now the issue is because we have people here that are undereducated. We have people here who could
they
be
don't
doctors.
want to be
We have people here.
educated. A lot of people.
But that's not true.
Oh,
See, now,
that's
I
not
want to
true.
say this, and it's not, because the problem is a lot of people. To learn is to be nurtured into someone, and lots of times we don't have the proper environment to nurture learning into an individual. If you have only been raised in poison your whole life, I can't expect you to one day come out of that poison and all of a sudden not be covered in and not have it in your DNA. If you know what I understand saying.
No,
If you
I
have,
mean, just because
so this is what I'm going to say. I come from a poor background, but the reason that I am the person I am is because I had those around me to pour life into me. I had quality teachers, I had a quality parenting, I had a structure and a community behind me who could put positive values and ideas in my head. I had spirituality, so I was very blessed. But the majority
It's whether or not you want to embrace it or not.
Hold on. But we don't truly have an environment. Look, if we truly have the environment of equity, if we truly had the environment of equity, then we wouldn't link a lot of our school funding to property taxes. Because obviously they understand that if I put you in a red line community, if I put you in a community that we have constantly undervalued and devalued, and they give you the worst quality education, you're not going to be someone who's going to have those values.
Yeah,
once again, it has to be
a lot of
into
communities, though. I got to
but and this is what I'm going to say. What I want to say is, once
I'm gonna let you.
Hold on.
We had an environment that did do that. But right now, we are not creating the proper environment to raise that in our schools, in our districts. Right now, we are underfunding our education system. Right now, we're targeting a lot of universities and things like that. And we're not investing in pipelines. Once again, this administration says they want to be hard on crime. The same cities that they're going to, like in Chicago, they've had historic crime lows because of different programs like intervention programs. And this White House right here has defunded a lot of those programs. It makes no sense. Yeah. And the problem is when people vote for the right, they say they're voting for these policies, but once again, these are the people who are exacerbating the issues that they're touting to say we want to fix.
In an area like Chicago,
that's the one line. What I just typed is what I wanted to say to you. I understand what you're saying about people not spending a lot in the pipeline. Let me tell you, I think some people are taking a step back and they're like, yo, education tends to be a latter thought, like a later thought in a lot of communities.
Well, I think a lot of people don't understand how education can benefit them in every
I think most kids, that is not true. Education has always been important in America, and especially to Black people. Now, this latter generation and all of y'all who got this are able to get the fast.
No, sir, can you mute your mic or rise? Somebody has a lot of background.
gig money and those things, you don't look at education as important.
That's
So-
why I'm saying they're stupid.
But black people look at education almost like I got an education just to brag about, not what they're producing with it. So that's what's more important to black people. If you ask
No,
me.
I think a lot of black people are
bragging rights
producing
is
things
more
with their
important.
education. I don't think it's
You
about.
do have
look,
you have
we-
people who like to
we have
brag.
different. Yeah, we do have different classes within black people, and there are certain classes that do like to talk about the prestige of education. So we understand. So right now, it's really a class battle within our community that we always are speaking about different values and different things like that when you're starting a home. But I'm talking about our country, period. A lot of these people who right now are in leadership roles, who are older of the baby boomer generation, benefited from quality state-funded educations. And right now, they're not giving that same quality state-funded education that they got back 40, 50, 60 years ago to our American children today. And that's of white children, Hispanic children, black children, period. Right now, if you're not somebody who's in the upper class who can go to the right neighborhood, afford the right home, and afford the right extracurricular activities for your children to succeed, you're going to be left to the back seat. And the problem is, in the past, we actually have more equity across the board through the middle and lower classes so that you could have the dynamic to move upward because we had quality state-funded education through, first of all, once upon a time, a 90% tax bracket on the wealthy. And I did say 90. So we've constantly defunded that. The right has constantly pulled back and given all these tax breaks to the wealthy so that they continue to put less and less and less and less into society. And they wonder why we have these issues that we're facing today.
But
You want to
you
stop crime, then you want to start with innovation programs. Okay, if you want to stop crime.
Wait a minute. I'm going to push back a little bit on what you said right there. Because I actually think that there is enough right now that is out there in the community for a kid to be educated and aspire to be whatever she or he wants to be. I don't think that's the issue. And I'm gonna give you, hold on. I'm gonna give you the examples of what is out there. So that are free. From kindergarten to 12th grade. So that would be khanacademy.org that shows you and teaches you to hold on, I thought I was
No, somebody is snoring.
Yeah,
it's Verizon Kitchen.
He came back. I thought he got dropped.
No, he was never dropped.
Okay.
That's right, because he's sleeping.
Yeah, Sylvia dropped him. Sylvia. I know he liked to do that.
Trying to mute him. You have khanacademy.org that does not cost anything. A gentleman that invested his money, and you have educational things.
Khan Academy? I don't know if I'm buying into that.
Wait. So I just want to say this. I agree that there are a lot of programs out there that are free.
Let me finish.
But I want to say our brains aren't even developed as adults until the age of 25 to 27. The other issue is, and this is what I want to say, the people who are at the top are not waiting for their children to make the decisions. Unfortunately, we have to be honest. We need adults.
That shit started under Obama 25.
There are free programs out there, but if the adult in your life doesn't know about those free programs, I'm not going to depend on I'm not going to depend on a child to do the best in their best interest.
So the reason most kids can't be educated is because their parents are not educated. Hell, these kids' parents can't fucking read. So the problem is, it's not that there's not resources out there. What we have to do in the community is retrain these children to be interested in learning again.
Well, it's what they're focusing on right now.
Go get these dumbass parents that don't know how to read, which is why most of the people,
it don't have nothing to do with the dumb parents being.
That's why most people are not successful in their life because they can't read.
They lean it. The focus now is
if your ass can't read, you don't know how to understand a contract you're signing. So you're signing an interest rate that you shouldn't have agreed to. If your ass don't know how to read, it's a bunch of things you'll never be able to do in life.
But even more, you know something? If you endeavor for education and you're around people who've never done it, let me tell you, you're gonna have a hard fucking time.
Well,
You're gonna have a hard time.
They're too busy teaching.
No, listen, bro, listen. If you say to someone, well, you know, tort is a part of contract law, you're gonna get jokes off of that. To even explain to someone that tort contract law, it's like, what are you even talking about? What's tort? Why are you bringing a new word in it?
But you know, I agree.
Listen. I was on Dame's Live, and someone said to a girl, "Listen, your insults are ad hoc, right?" She legit said, "You're trying to use big words." Okay.
Yeah, this is why I said earlier the vast majority of society is average.
Being educated around the anti-educated, it's like, yo, bro, it's like being a redheaded stepchild, bro. A redheaded mulatto stepchild. It's hard.
I think it's more of the focus of what they're focusing on. It seems like America is restructuring everything, including gender. Like gender studies is heavy on these kids. Yes, they restructuring family. They want to restructure family and all that type of stuff.
Black people are restructuring, running around talking about, oh, I ain't got to go to college. Well, if you don't go to college, go to trade school.
Trade school is beneath black folks. You know that.
No, but that's part of the problem is that people don't even understand.
Why would trade school be beneath you?
You know, black folks think. Mississippi, where you been at?
Oh, black people. What I'm
go
saying,
to one of these. Go one of these labs and trade school. They're gonna cuss you out.
This is what I'm gonna tell you. So I went to a school that specifically started by a black former veteran for black men, because the trades is often a felon-friendly career path. Okay, a lot of young men in the community have felonies, right? So they need a place to where they can go and get a job. Okay, and a job that pays well, because a lot of these young men have felonies. A lot of young men in the community sometimes have felonies, and there aren't a lot of places you can go with a felony and get a job. The trades is a place for that. Now, you don't have to just have a felony, but this school is specifically targeted towards black men and black women. Anyway, so I went there specifically for carpentry. So I framed houses, right? But nonetheless, this man starts a school. Okay, there are a lot of young men who actually, if you don't understand the trade system in certain states, you actually have to be sworn into a union and know somebody in the union to actually have access to the union and to understand that it's there. In the past, maybe in generations before, a lot of these young men, the last person in their family that might be in a union, something like that, might be their grandfathers or great-great-grandfathers who have probably passed away. So nonetheless, a lot of people in our community don't know about the trades. And what this school started with 5 men in his garage, right? And you're talking about it's beneath us. No, a lot of young men just don't have access or privy to the programs and understanding. Once again, this is why pipelines are so important. This man now, he trains thousands of people a year on a full campus in many different trades and many different career paths.
Wonderful.
But it's the access to that. And once again, we need adults and great leaders who lead the average and the meek to success.
That used to be in school.
But this is not in school. This is for grown men.
The problem is they don't want black people to be educated. That's why these things were removed, and they're never going to be added back.
What
so what black people are going to have to do is take control of their own education.
And that's what that man did through starting that school. Amen. But I want to say this, that program is in Minneapolis, Minnesota, ironically.
Are you in Minneapolis?
No. I'm not up there right now. I lived in Minneapolis for over a decade.
What's your home base?
Let's say it one more time.
What's your home state? What's the home state?
I'm in Georgia now.
Is that where you did K-12?
No. So I'm originally from the Midwest. I'm originally from Missouri and Kansas. That's why I got the majority of my education.
You did multiple states.
Oh, I know you.
I didn't know no black people was in Kansas. I thought that was
Let me ask you, hold on.
She in Missouri. You in Kansas City, Missouri.
Let me ask you a question. K-12, you did multiple states?
K-12 was Kansas.
K-12 was Kansas. Got you. Thank you.
Yes, but I will say this. I also went to an African theme school for black people in grade school, so we learned Black history, learned Black languages and things like that, was help center me right now in this white society that we have, this systematic oppression. But nonetheless, so
Hold
I
on,
also have
'cause
a
white
different
people
upbringing
sound
and
like
stuff
they
like
being
that.
oppressed now. They getting popped too.
Oh, they always are playing a big thing. But I just want to say this. So that also,
What?
once again, I've benefited from a lot
You
of
just
different
completely missed
investment
what you said.
from, no, I heard what he said. Uh, uh, so I've just once again benefited from a community and benefited from adults and mentorship. And that's why I think adults and mentorship is so important, even to adulthood, because a lot of young men, when I say young men, I don't mean teenagers. I mean men between the ages of 18 and probably 27.
Young adults.
need-
Young adults.
Yeah,
You got to
they
take
need
away
quality
professional
mentorship.
sports for Black men to really get interested in stuff like that. 'Cause
Well, I'm not even, look, I'll be honest. I'm not against necessarily the whole idea of professional sports, because for a lot of young men, that leads them down a different path of that could be a negative path that takes them in a different direction in their lifestyle and in their lives. So I'm not necessarily against that. I will say that America does a great job of glorifying that.
Yeah.
This is why Vivek Ramaswamy, when he went on stage and he called American society mediocre, which
Yeah,
means white tea society mediocre, they took that to extreme offense. But he was telling the truth. We don't focus on STEM education. Look at the media we put out there for all people, white people there and otherwise. It's full of garbage. It's not full of education. It's not full of Church of Latter-day Saints commercials talking about a foundation for a better life, love your neighbors, clean up your neighborhood, and nurture your children. We feed people garbage because that's what they want. They need to
But
always.
you know how he got
society.
rich, right? He was a scammer too, though. You know
So, no, we all know these are scammers. So I'm not saying that, but I'm just talking about our society isn't focused on greatness. Our society isn't focused on morality or anything like that. They're focused on the almighty dollar, and they're focused on the delusion that creates
Hey, quick money,
confusion.
yeah.
I would
You know,
definitely
so-
not say that I would definitely not characterize that as white America. I would
No,
say
that's just American culture, period. American
right, but you
culture,
said-
period, is like they say, consumerism, and it's low vibrational. It's very skin deep. There's no there. There's no
Yeah,
depth.
what you said was
there's
that
no effort
Vivek
to
Ramaswamy-
enlighten. There's no
What-
effort.
What
There's
you
some.
said
There's
was
some.
Vivek-
I was
my-
just.
my bad, Tech. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. So basically, someone was just talking just a minute ago about how much money they make, and I swear to God, like, yo, it's like it's all it is, man. I swear, I don't even know what to say. Like, if I
That's what gives you value in our
I
society.
guess if I make 100,000, I'm on my way. If I make less than 10, if I make whatever, I'm on my way to hell, right? Right, Miss Sylvia, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right,
Pretty
Miss
much.
Sylvia. I like what the hell, buy me a
got it.
dog collar. You know what? I mean, that's what the value of a man is, I guess, right? Right, Miss
Pretty
Sylvia?
much.
Miss
Well,
Sylvia?
I didn't know that the value of a man was based on his money, but maybe
Yeah,
it-
you damn lie.
That's
You
what
lying.
Miss Sylvia, I'm asking.
You ain't never dated no bum before. Stop it, Miss Sylvia.
I ain't never chose a man because of money.
You ain't never chose one, not because of money either.
He pulled up with the clean rims and the car, the Cadillac car.
Only because I was raised, to work.
Nah, Miss Sylvia, you done had your prize pieces.
Yeah, he pulled up in that
Come on
Cadillac
now.
with that damn brim hat.
I have never viewed a man as a
Smokey
financial
Robinson
swing.
eyes.
And
It's a
raised-
natural thing for women, though. So I don't see
Exactly.
Captain.
And I raised my daughters that way to never.
What they
be-
call it, hypergamous? Women are naturally hypergamous.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
I never.
It's
even
not.
used the
But the
name.
problem is they don't want to play their role. They want to be
Yeah.
the man. They want to be the man in a relationship.
Well,
That's what Miss Sylvia talking about. I pay my own damn bills. That's what she
Right.
said. You can't
Only
tell me
'cause-
nothing.
Listen,
Only
a cou-
'cause
a
they
couple
were
of days
told-
ago, I do Lyft, right? A couple of days ago, some white dude was in
Ain't that
my
right,
car.
Miss Sylvia? Ain't that right?
What?
Now you ain't here.
let
You
me
can't
ask
hear
you
what I
this.
said.
So let me ask you this question: what would a
She got
man
this.
at 53? I mean, at 62, feel that he would need to? And when you say tell somebody something, I mean, I take that as like you dealing with a child or something.
Nah, that ain't true.
Well, what,
Yeah.
Women, if you ask me, women's minds are constantly under attack by the media, by
That's a
TV
fact.
shows y'all watch.
That's what
I
I
want
was
to
gonna
get my
say.
boobs done. I want to do this. I want to get my butt lift. Like, no, babe, you don't need that. I got my own damn money. You can't tell me that.
That
Go
may
ahead.
be young women But I mean, that's
It's all women.
They got all these women. They trying to be cougars now.
Woman my age going nowhere and getting no surgery done.
Listen,
That's a lot of them.
Kanye's mom passed.
But this has been a thing since the 20s. You know, you have to think that propaganda towards women has it all companies focused on during that time was convincing women that they needed something to then persuade their husbands to buy said thing because they didn't have access to the capital alone. And just like they did with black people, when they invited black people to integrate their grandiose dollars, they did the same thing to women. And they realized, look, if I can pull this woman out of the house and I can give her her own dollar, I can use this influence of power that I have over the media to influence them to do stuff that they normally wouldn't do or was not in their best interest. And you know that, Miss Sylvia, from sales, which I know you do. The tactics to go to sales is to look at the person that is not the decision maker and to convince them to convince the decision maker to make the decision. You know, when you go to that decision maker and he has or she has opposition, you're going to look for the person that is the weakest link to attack them first. When you do that, then there you have reinforcements. Now you've built a team. You've built a team of people for your sale, and now you're going at bat. Now you're making them the enemy of the house. It's always been that way, and women have been told throughout history that they were not important. What they do is not important, and this is what you need to be, and this is how you need to act, and this is what you need to look like, and this is how you need to approach your husband in order to be important. Women's whole identity has been attacked, and then they replace that to say, oh, well, it was men that are making these choices. When, to be honest, the media influenced that, and a lot of you, unfortunately, in the earlier years, you didn't have us as men in your homes. We were husbands, but a lot of us had to be out working ungodly hours. We were not at home to be able to talk to you about certain things. So by the time you get home, you've already been programmed by TV. You've talked to people that have tried to knock on your door and sell you something. You've been programmed by the other women who are jealous of your position and what you look like and what you do and how you do what you do. It's all of these different aspects. And then we come to today, and now women just want to be independent, and they want to say that they're happy. But to be honest, I don't see a lot of women that are happy with this position of being men. They're just not. They're not happy with it. They would rather have been women and have all the things that they felt like. Women just have, what women have had attacked is their feeling of that they were important. And it didn't come from the people that were inside of your house. It came from the people that were outside of your house. Everyone outside of your house told you that you were not important. When you went to go get a job, they told women, oh, well, what are you, just a house mom? Well, you don't have any experience. You're not valuable in this society. Well, that doesn't mean it. So what? You spent 18 hours getting the house done, making sure that everything was clean, everything was vacuumed, kids were taken care of, you were doing good, everybody's doing good in school, they have emotional support, your husband's getting dinner every night, you know, you're opening your legs whenever you can. Who cares about all that? I don't care about none of that. You're not important. So you then took a step and said, oh, well, then fine, I need to become important in this society. I need to become important because I'm not important. They just played you. And then they started putting it on TV. Well, I guess women aren't going to, so you don't have the right to vote because you're not intelligent and you're not all this. No, there were certain measures that were put into place to protect you from you just intrinsically being able to be you. Women need to have the openness and freedom to be emotional when they need to be. They need to have the openness and freedom to be expressive of those emotions. They don't need to be bottling them up, trying to run outside and get no damn dollar. They don't need to be running out, getting no damn degrees for no reason. They don't need to be staying by themselves out here with the whole planet full of men while they're living alone and they got children in the house. This is crazy. And you got women.
Men need some of that also.
Wait,
yeah, men definitely do.
This still comes from a negative patriarchal idea, which created once again through white supremacy is a patriarchal idea.
Exactly. I mean, if y'all want to call it white supremacy, then
Yeah,
fine.
what? Yeah, whatever you want to call
No,
it. I don't
They
care if
call
you're
white
label, bro.
specifically, no.
because white men are taking control of
No,
their
it's not
communities. It's
this.
white supremacy. That's
This is
crazy.
what. No, that's not it. So black households have oftentimes been a household that is a counterbalance that has two multipolar leaders. Black women have always been the backbone of the community and their families, doing three jobs. And a lot of black women didn't have the luxury of just being a housewife who could sit around. Black women have been working
Oh, I
since
thought
day
they
one in this
wasn't able
country.
to work. What the
No,
fuck?
no, no, no. Let's say this. So there are certain women who did have the benefit of just being a housewife. But at the end of the day, we have to be honest. We live in a country that once again always pushes those who are at the fringes to the maligned areas. Women were the over thousands of years of history. Okay, so women in America do have a reason to want to be independent. A lot of men in this country, especially the white tea men, were not good stewards over women. So women don't want to be controlled anymore like they have been controlled for thousands of years.
Good night,
Once
Ted.
again, also with the idea of wait. So a lot of men weren't great stewards. So women just got a lot of these rights that we think are just God given in the 1980s or 90s. There was just a sexual harassment. Women just got sexual harassment in the workplace in 1993. Women just got the idea of physical abuse and battery and a lot of those laws done in the late 80s. So a lot of these policies that we think have been given, it's not true. There's been a lot of bad stewards over the years, and women have had to be, just like black people, unfortunately, have had to be the voice of reason to show you our society that it still needs to push forward and make these policies that we have to protect them. And once again, black people specifically, we come from matriarchal societies and societies built on cadres of people, meaning elders and women in tangent, who ran the community 90% of the time when the men were aware, the men were at war. It was women and the elderly. So women have constantly, especially our women, have been leaders in the community. It's not that they don't know their place. The problem is, once again, what Rand was talking about is the right, I'm sorry to say, has created a lot of the policies that have ruined society. If you want to have this idea of patriarchy, they're the ones who ruined it once again because they didn't want to have a man who had the right for collective bargaining to have a living wage. What they wanted to do was make even more money and get a scam. So that's the issue.
But
you can't vote for the right when they create all of the exacerbated issues they claim to say they have an issue with.
But we had
once again, make it make sense. We didn't have all that.
we
A
did
lot of these policies
we
are
definitely
new.
did.
No, we might have had marriage, the idea of marriage and it being consummated by the state, but black people didn't even have that legally until later in our country's history. So nonetheless, I see the idea of unity through marriage and building something bigger, and I understand why we want to go back to that, and I understand that. But the problem is a lot of that is through a white supremacist lens that does not necessarily benefit our community as black and brown people. That's what I'm saying.
You can call it whatever you want. To be honest, it makes irrelevancy to me because if it's not one person, it's going to be another. At the end of the day, what I can see is you're not successful because you're not playing by the rules. If you understand that this is a patriarchal society, and obviously you're complaining about not being able to get ahead, and you're talking about you're dealing with the matriarchal society, and as we just outlined, in a matriarchy against a foundationally patriarchal society is not going to work, simply because a lot of the issues that you're going to go to, again, going back to the propaganda aspect, a lot of these issues that we have been propagandized over the years, as we can see, were all fruitless. They bore absolutely nothing for black people. What they ended up being is a big ass distraction for none of us to gain anything economically. We ended up being worse off economically now, and we would have to address that first. If you're going to say that women, quote unquote, know their place, and I'm not saying that they do have a place or that they don't have a place. To be honest, I don't think that women, especially black women, I don't hear black women screaming that they want to be in the front. But I also don't hear black women actively addressing what it means to take a back seat either. So if you're going to continue to be what you classified as a dual leadership, you can't have dual leadership. One party is leading this effort in this direction and dynamic as a whole, and that is it. If you're going to take dual leadership, then that means you're going to be split in your ideology and what you want to do in your direction. Point blank. That's why the Bible does not allow
for a president
for
and a
dual
chief
leadership.
of staff.
The chief of staff is to advise the president. The president is the leadership. There is no one above or equal to the president. That is identified in our legal structure, in any legal structure in this country, in every legal structure in the globe. There is no equal say. The only time that you have an equal, no, not even in congressional settings, because they all vote. But at the end of the day, the vice president, if it's a tie, the vice president comes and gives the direction for the congressional body. So even in democracy, there's no split leadership. There's no two people coming together and saying, well, I'm equal, I'm equal, I'm equal. They're not. There's one person, there's one idea, there's one direction. Everyone else leads in supporting their role in that direction, period. So that is not good for our community, that we can even say that as a whole. Oh, well, we have a bunch of people that want to be, we're going 50-50. There is no 50-50 in this household. There can only be one direction that we're all going. Either we're headed towards economic prosperity, and that's what we're putting all of our focus and attention on, or we're headed towards what the immediate focus is of today, and we're going to spend all of our economic power satisfying that need. One of the two. We can't do both.
I'll say this: we as a people, we have more numbers doing positive things than ever before. Now, because all of us are in poverty and all of us are uneducated. We're not necessarily a monolith. Okay, lots of things that we have issues with. Once again, like we were saying, it even goes all the way back to the history, like the W.E.B. Du Bois, and even Marcus Garvey and
Marcus Garvey,
Booker T. Washington. There's a lot of class issues. If you go back to the book called The Philadelphia Negro, which is a social experiment that they did where they actually documented the community, a lot of the issues that we face today, we're still facing from the 1800s. A lot of these issues are societies that are built in cities that are not negative. The cities bring so many benefits to people, but also brings a lot of harms as well. So at the end of the day, when you compound poverty and issues like that, it just sometimes can become worse. But as a people, we're doing better than ever. Technically, there are more numbers of us, so more of us are being successful technically. But we do want to do better. But I don't see the policies that help us actually create that path that we want to see on the right. That's just what I'm saying. Because we want to create more businesses in our communities. How come the right is not equally investing in our businesses like the last administration? It's actually gone down. Also, if the right, once again, they won't even come to our communities to set up business incubators or anything like that. If these people care so much about the poor, care so much about Black people, they're not putting their money where their mouth is. It's a farce. And so that's what I don't like. This is why I talk about make it make sense. All these corporations and things like that, these people on the right who say they're for free and economic freedom for everyone, then how come they aren't giving equity and funding? Okay, it's the same thing that happened in housing. Yes, it's 2025, but they still show you don't have a Black picture in a house. Don't let them know Black people own the house because it'll immediately be devalued. A lot of families still have to have white friends and white photos in their homes just to get the proper value for their homes. And it's not because they're in a red line community. So we have to say that there's a lot of issues that, frankly, the right who is, and this country, period, has not dealt with. And they have not been honest with. And they're not benefiting us. Once again, if you want to benefit our communities, then where's our education equity? It's not true. Black people cannot create everything on their own. This country is a country, the wealth in this country was built by government intervention. We have policies like Manifest Destiny. We have policies like FSA loans. We have policies like the GI Bill. We have policies like the GED created for folks. We have policies about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and all those different things that created the middle class and created wealth for a lot of these white families that we did not have privy to. And still to this day right now, U.S. Navy Federal or whatever, they were found to, once again, if the Black person or the person of color was more qualified even than the white counterpart, they were still denied the loan to the less qualified white counterpart. So we do still have racist policies, and a lot of these policies come from companies on the right who don't want to deal with equity and diversity. We're all people, but it's not true. They're playing in our face once again. They don't care about us. They don't care about people. They only care about the almighty dollar. And that's not great for our community. Yes, we want everyone to go out here and be exceptional, but everybody's not exceptional. And I want to say this, to see these ideas work in reality, I always say go to the, first of all, education. It's called The Boys from Baraka. Look at that documentary. Rand was talking about propaganda. The documentary A Century of Self talks about the propaganda and how they're using actual psychology in this country to create planned obsolescence, to create this consumer society, to create the woman who's asking the husband for things like that. And the last one I want to say is, oh, what was it about? It's about all those things. We need people to create these programs for other people to lead them to the promised land, to lead them to education, and to lead them to economic resilience. So they're not putting the people in place and the costs in place to be successful. They're constantly taking away those things. So that's why you will never see me vote for the right, even though they might have a policy that's great for somebody who does have the free thinking mind and the forethought and all those things to be successful in this society. But America was curated by making the below average above average. We said we were the country to bring a lot of these people right now who are doing the same, kick out the immigrants, who are immigrants who came to this country on Ellis Island. Okay, who now they forgot who they were because they're just a blank color, a blank slate. So at the end of the day, we created a lot of policies to take those people down who forgot where they came from, like Donald Trump, whose family came from Germany, okay, who was one of those huddled masses. We created that through programs and policies like collective bargaining, through socialist programs that people forget about, and through high taxes. So the right is playing in your face once again. They're exacerbating the same issues you say that you care about. And that's what I'm saying. They don't have true policies for us. Okay,
Well, I know
it's
you're
just
not
not
gonna.
the truth.
What you're not going to see is policies that say that they're for Black people, no matter what branch of government that you look
No,
at.
I just mean for our community, period. But it's not for the greater good either. It's for poor people or people who are not exceptional of all colors.
I mean, that's what
So
you
you,
say, but
yeah.
that's what you say. But to be honest, I'll let you go, no sir. But that's what you say. But to be honest, what I see is we have policies that incentivize people to stay at the level that they are at, and to quite frankly, what I see from Democratic policies is to get them
Oh, I'm
further
sorry,
in the.
it glitched.
Okay. What I see from, I'll just say this. What I see from Democratic policies, and the difference is Republican policies give you the freedom to do whatever that you want. If you don't want to go to college, you can still be successful because we're going to put a tax plan. If you educate yourself on it and how to be successful in it, then you will be successful. If you want to work, we will create policies that give you incentives that, well, and this is coming from Trump, because I haven't seen this from Bush, which is all I have knowledge of. So as a W-2 worker, there is incentivized tax policies if you educate yourself on actually taking advantage of those that will give you wealth. There is several different, when it comes to education, the freedom of education to go where you want to go. I didn't see the Biden administration or the Obama administration create school choice and implement school choice. That was a Trump policy. So that gave people the ability to go get the education that they wanted, whereas before they were stuck in certain zip codes and serial code. But from the Democratic Party, what I see is policies to incentivize educational institutions, policies to incentivize corporations like the insurance companies to continue to still get the same amount of money that they were getting, and to be able to screw us over later in the forefront. I don't see these policies that are so beneficial to the average, but the difference is between the left and the right is when you look at the left actually stifles your freedom to do some of the other things, i.e., like I said at the beginning, the financial security of our country is very important. I did not see the whole entire 4 years. We had a complete stoppage. There was no passage. There was no congressional floor meetings. The most that they did was talk on the floor, and it was only Republicans. Democrats were not bringing these issues to the forefront. They were not creating legislation to make sure that we are financially secure. To be quite honest, they were doing the exact opposite. They were creating financial legislation to put us underneath a country like China, To be completely honest, if I'm gonna be real with you. So,
but who built
to,
the economic forefront in China to have that? Who took all of
the
the jobs
United
over there?
States, the United States did. The rest of the globe. No, I'm sorry. The rest of the globe did.
Yeah,
Everyone,
but you know
everyone
who
assisted
who was
in
at the
China
forefront of
becoming.
those policies? Okay, after you have
But that was
LBJ,
that's
who's the president after
but that's
LBJ?
irrelevant. That's irrelevant to
That's
party, though. What
not
I'm saying,
it's not
it
not
is
irrelevant
irrelevant
to
to party
party.
at that time. At that time, yes, it
Whoever the
was. That was
conservative party is, whether they call themselves the Dixiecrats or they call themselves the Republicans now, they've always been antithetical to the worker. They've never
but
been
that
for the worker.
at that time, what I'm saying is, at that time, that was not an American thing. At that time, that was a global effort. That was every
No,
country
it was,
in the
if
globe.
we
Yes, it
controlled the
was.
petrodollar in the 1970s, the world is going to be the Western world, which is the white world. Okay, so Europe and America decided to do those things. Yes, they decided to take a lot of the countries that they already went over to and already colonized. We have to be honest with that. And they said, yes, let's use these formerly colonized nations again. Since we can't formally colonize them, since we have to let them be free, what we're going to do is we're going to economically colonize them. And that's what they've been doing ever since. So at
But
the end of the
they
day,
didn't
all of
economically
this,
colonize China. That's what I'm.
no.
That's
What
what I'm
happened
trying
with
to
China
say.
is China learned from the Opium Wars. This is why history is so important. The Europe and America went to China. Okay, the first person was Europe. They sent their dignitaries, they sent their whole people over there to meet the emperor. Okay, when they met with the emperor says he lords over the whole world, everything that's under the sun. When he saw these pale people, he said, "It's nice to meet you, pale peasants. How wonderful to see you, but I do not need your trinkets." If you look at the actual report from that dignitary who wrote back to the queen, he called them every name but a child of God. And what they did is they said, "We demand that you open your nation to us for trading." But China said, "We do not need anything from the outside world." If you go back to history again, the reason that China closed itself off was because of a superstition from the former emperor, to where the palace had burned down when China used to travel the world before Europeans did. And he said, "You know what? We're going to close ourselves to the rest of the world." They were closed. Europe came over there. And when they said, "Europe, you cannot trade with us," Europe started a war with them called the Opium Wars. And then so did America 100 years later. And that lasted almost 300 years. And so you had the whole Mao situation that happened. And that's how he came to power with the Communist Party. So what happened is they learned from that mistake. And they said, what we're going to do is we're going to be like Japan. And what Japan did, even in Japan, they didn't do what America told them to do. So the Japanese have companies like Mitsubishi, families like Toyota, all these families who've been around hundreds of years that they tried to break up and divide. But unfortunately, America once again went to intervene in another Asian country called Korea during the Korean War. And they said, "You know what, Japan, we need you to create products for the war." And they also they were going to let Japan have a military again, but Japan chose against that because they say we would rather not be intervened. Wait, this is going back to China. China, the reason that China is the country it is today is because they learned from the Opium Wars. In the Opium Wars, they were overtaken by Europe, the colonial powers, and they were overtaken by Japan. Okay, and they called that's a scar to them, and they have never forgot that. What they said is when they opened up after Mao died, they said we're going to learn. We're going to be the cat in mice clothing. They let America and the West bring all the education, all the jobs, and all of the actual mechanization they needed to create the future that they have today. The problem is they actually invested in their country, dramatically so. And right now, America is mad about that fact. So they thought that we were going to have them pinned. White people just thought that China was going to be under their thumb for at least another 100 years. But the problem is China and they have a culture of mastery. So they know how to perfect things. And what they perfected was the system, right? In South Africa, they perfected racism. In China, they perfected the systems that they learned from the Americans through mechanization and the idea of manufacturing. And they invested in their people. And right now, America's mad that it didn't invest in its people.
Through slave labor. Is that what you're saying? That's what you call investing in your people? Okay.
No. Investing in their people first started with those low quality jobs, you understand? But they also educated a lot of people. The most of our students at these Asian students that are private institutions pay full tuition, and they come from China. They have money. So they curated in a matter of about 50 to 60 years, what took America about 150 years to create a middle class. So a lot of these people have money.
Yeah, because they got a
especially from
billion
Asia.
people over there.
Exactly.
I
But
mean,
there also
and
a lot
half
of people.
them are working for slave labor, like I said.
Yeah, but you have to understand, once upon a time, 1 billion people were in slave or labor. But they took out of that billion, they have 500 million now that aren't in slave labor, and they've done that in 60 years. That's amazing.
So while America is ending, it's like China is like, okay, we'll take over the reins, and a lot of people, and a lot of corporations from America was like, okay, we recognize that. We'll do business for you for pennies on a dollar and bring the bullshit back here to the United States.
And it came to bite them in the butt.
So the same people that were getting wealthy off slavery in America were making it off of the Chinese. It's the same shit.
It's the same
That's what I'm saying. And once again, those are the conservative people who sent all the jobs over there.
It did not bite them in the butt. That's the point. It did.
It is biting them in the butt. The idea of BRICS and the idea that the petrodollar is being devalued. I'm with you on the petrodollar. I'm with you on the value of the dollar. The problem is dollar hegemony is being broken by a lot of countries due to China, Russia, South Africa, and Brazil through the idea of the BRICS. Because it's right now that's the threat to America, and that's why we have this war with China, especially with computer chips. Because right now China is at the lead of a lot of these programs. Once again, this is investing in education and a lot of programs in their country.
But it is their turn. That's my point.
Right.
It is
the Chinese history. They predicted it 20 years ago. Yeah.
The world is cyclical, but in our society, we act like we're behind. So
we are.
You want to talk about white racism? You think the Chinese love your ass or something? Like, no, black ass over there.
I'm talking about how that's a threat to the American dollar. This is what Rand is talking about. That is a threat to the American dollar. The BRICS is a threat to the value of the dollar and the petrodollar and our hegemony in the world system economically.
Correct. But what I want to make sure is clear is that it is time for the dollar to regress.
Yeah.
Right. This current system, the issue with all of this and why they said this is the new world order, going back to 1999, the reason why we had Y2K and it's the new world order. We have to decentralize power. Right. And that means that we're going to see a regression of power of the dollar. It is these countries that the world, the globe. That's why I said it was not partisan. It was a partisan effort from America. And it wasn't just an American thing. The globe understood that we're going to have to give each country the opportunity to utilize this slave labor in order to come up, just like the Americas did. So now that it has been China's time. As you can see, China is now passing that buck over to the Indians. However, controversially, China is now empowering itself to get a better floor on its average citizen. Because its average citizen, they utilize this labor for so long and so cheap, and they overextended themselves, being hoardful at the top, that now none of their people can afford anything. So they don't have the economy that we have, which they should. So instead of that, they're partnering with people like Russia, they're partnering with India, and they're saying, hey, I'm going to be the next dominant superpower. That has already been established.
So invest in me.
Invest in me, and I will make sure that your interest, just like we did with the petrodollar, I will make sure that your interests are taken into consideration when I do certain moves, because you're going to be trading in the same pairs. The only difference is now, if we don't hold that same agreement with everyone else and we don't gather resources and we don't have the things that we have, we don't even have the bargaining chips. We can't even go sit at the table. Yeah, we can't sit at the table. So what I'm saying about the economics is it's not about us being the dominant superpower monetarily, because that's going to cease to exist over time. What is not going to cease to exist is, do you have chips to come to the poker table? Or are you just bringing cards? Because if you are just bringing cards, you're going to have to take them shoes off. You're going to have to take that watch off. You're going to have to slide your deed to your mortgage. You're going to have to put something on the table. And we, as the American people in this economy, are what's on the table. I hope you 100% understand that. It's not. Yeah, go ahead.
I agree. So, so when you're saying, speaking of collateral, I do agree with that.
We're 100%. We are the backing of the dollar. Period. The American people are the backing of the dollar. So when we issue these debt notes and we want people to hold them overseas, guess whose back that's on? That's why from the beginning when we said it, this is why I don't agree with this whole immigration argument coming from we need to bring a whole bunch of people in here, because essentially what you're going to do is you're going to drive people to do the same thing that you told them was illegal. You're going to drive them to want to pay people lower because people are going to become more desperate for work, and everything else is not going to remain. It's going to remain the same price, because all you have to do is, as soon as you bring more people in and the bottom, this middle class shelf falls under, all you have to do is import a certain amount of people into this country that do have economic wealth, because all of our wealth went overseas. So now all I have to do is bring a couple million people in here to stay in these homes, to do all this, and guess what everybody at the bottom is doing? Fighting for pennies. When in reality, what we need to do is we need to slim the number down on the people that are in this country, so that when we hit an economic ripple, we're able to sustain where we're at, because there's enough people to say for the job market, hey, I still need to hire 100 people. There's not 400 people in the streets looking for jobs. There's only 75.
How come the right has no policies to punish these business owners?
Because it's not about the business owners first and foremost. Regardless of if we punish the business owners are, the government itself is bringing these people in.
That's what I'm saying. But the government,
it's not only.
If you punish them in one state, they'll just move to another state.
They're going to move to another state. Yeah,
they just move around, and it's just a musical chair, basically.
They'll move out of the country. What do they care? They're still going to have these operations here. The point is, as a citizen, the only reason why any of this can even fly is because the American people have the power over the government. The government is reactionary. It's not. It is not an active body. It doesn't do anything to legislate stuff for the future. It does stuff based on what we do as American citizens today, and then it says, hey, American citizens are quitting their jobs and they're going to other countries. We better create an incentivized program for them to stay. Oh, Americans have an extreme amount of, there's been 75,000 pew-pews across the country. We better do something to regulate pew-pew violence. Like they don't do anything other than react to what the citizens do. This is why we have to vote them into power in the first place. So when you say, well, why would you go against the corporations? Because to be honest, if we're looking at it from the grassroots of this country,
no, I'm saying you should go against the corporation. Yeah, but you're have all the values that we have. I understand the corporation.
You are a corporation, but you are a corporation yourself, sir. So when you outline these things, this is why you can't go against. This is why you cannot go against free enterprise in this country. You are a corporation. You are a franchisee branch of the government, which means everything that they do to a corporation, they're doing to you. This is why these policies are why they come to bite you in the ass at the end of the day, because your taxes and all this stuff. When this new monetary system shifts and they have to educate everybody like they did in 1933 again over what and how to do in this system, they're going to pull the wool from your eyes and show you all this stuff that they were supposed to tell you prior to, because it no longer applies, right? And you're going to see. Go ahead, bro. What?
So, do you think the system is? Do you think that the tariff system is what he's moving towards? As far as producing money for the government, I guess.
I think the tariffs are definitely going to be one of the systems that are used to fund the government, and here's why: because it's going to become very, very difficult as we move into this digital space and everyone's identity becomes digital. And not only that, but in a digital space, that digital ID can be anywhere, right? So you could literally gain citizenship in another country or own property in another country. It's going to become extremely hard to tax people. So the only way that you will be able to tax things is by purchases on your land, the rights and the digital rights to that land specifically, right?
That sounds like freedom to me.
Right, but I'm saying if you didn't do it on a purchase-based system, like that's what he's already said that he wants to move towards, right? We want to eliminate basically all the taxes except the consumption tax.
Mhm.
So when you do that, other people from other countries are going to be able to purchase fractional shares of all of this stuff that we give, that we sign title to. So any of these debt notes, they're going to be able to get fractional ownership of when it goes on the secondary market. Cool. But the issue is since they are in a different place, then that other country would need to levy taxes.